couple of days ago, I said to you I was a little bit confused about this story, Wasn't quite sure where it came from. Of course, it featured Harry and Meghan, and it was put together, of course, by their celebrated photographer, Miss Harriman. A rather strange individual, because all the time he appears to be popping up on social media, obviously with some slight racism, the way he's being treated. Somebody gave him a funny look, It doesn't seem that he ever has a happy day here in London town. But of course now his sort of star has risen, hasn't it? He's been on the front cover of Vogue with a magazine, and now his picture has landed in the National Portrait Gallery, something we told you about. And of course, Catherine is the patron of the National Portrait Gallery. But there's a little bit more to it than that. As ever, let me explain. Lovely to see you today. Thank you so much for joining me. Yes, I know the throat is still, we're getting there. Yeah, are you? Well, you're not so bad. You don't look so bad. Well, yeah, it's through a micro lens, isn't it? I mean, I love it, don't you, when people come up to you and say, are you all right? And you feel like saying, no, I'm like a living death, but you're carrying on, aren't you? You don't really need to be reminded that you feel terrible or all that sort of stuff. Interesting though, because I must tell you, by the way, bumped into an old Hollywood star the other day. Well, I say old, actually. No, it's not that old. I'll share that with you very soon. You're going to enjoy that conversation because, of course, it's a man who's had a lot of success. And it's funny, isn't it? How they can be the biggest thing on the planet, and then suddenly, they can just wander in and people don't even know who they are. People who are working with me had no idea who he was. Made me feel ancient. You had that. Yes. Back as ever to your royal story of the day. Interesting this, as I say, this particular image was taken in Manchester when Harry and Meghan did that sort of, again, strange sort of tour thing. I'm not quite sure what she was doing at all. Looked like she was dressed out as something from Batman in the red pantsuit. Very, very heavy dark makeup, lots of lashings of mascara. Whatever she was trying to come up with at that particular point, whether it was the 43% Nigeria, who knows. But as I say, this particular picture taken at that event, which is very reminiscent of John Lennon and Yoko Ono in a very similar pose. Oh yes. Well, you see, there's a bit more to it than that, because now, according to a very well-placed source, Meghan wants exactly to know if there's going to be a launch. I know, a launch of a picture, really? Now, we contacted the National Portrait Gallery and they seem very vague about this whole thing. They're not exactly waving banners and celebrating it, and this is from the media team. Now, again, where it gets even more interesting is I've been told this, that Meghan would like this particular unveiling when it gets into the, National Portrait Gallery for somebody to come along and film some elements of it. Now, the reason being, apparently, is, and as ever we have to say allegedly, she'd like to keep this particular information to launch it inside her cooking show for Netflix. This is all to show to the world that Harry and Meghan are a force to be reckoned with. And even around the world, in celebrated areas like the National Portrait Gallery, people will flock to look, admire and comment on them. This is a very clever move, I think, by her marketing team. Won't really wash over here in the United Kingdom because some people think the National Portrait Gallery is very much for the elite. I always find it's quite useful if it's raining and it's free to go in and there's a few seats. Plus, yes, the conveniences are quite roomy. Do you get the drift? And well, we're the same, aren't we? Yes, spend a penny, no thanks. But on a more serious note, this is where I find it strange because clearly, when you think about it, nobody seems to know why this particular picture was submitted or indeed decided to be included in this particular portrait gallery. And as I said to you before, what are they? Who are they? And why would anybody care? Seemingly, something's a little darker and deeper going on. But as ever for Meghan, she's hoping that this will turn into something of an explosive boiling point inside her Netflix cookery show. As ever, a developing story. When I know more, you'll know more. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.